Hello, everybody. Who is excited that Christmas is over? Welcome, everybody. If this is your first time here, I always like to say, what are you drinking? I need to take the lid off of my tea. And where are you from? So I am drinking it's called banana butter banana nut tea from David's Tea. And I also am from Vancouver Island. So welcome. It is a classic dreary day, but I'm okay with that. I'm actually super duper happy that it is winter, which is weird. And I'm going to get into that. So many weird things going on this year, but it's all good. So let's see. Kelsey's here. She says, good morning. M. Reams is here from New Orleans. Elisa, who came up with Minimalist Light, which I am like heavily leading into, is here from Alabama drinking some coffee, lemon ginger tea. Got your tea. Yay! Valerie, Jennifer, Karen. Hi, Karen. DJ, Julie, hot honey and lemon. South of Vancouver, RCG. Every time, Kelsey, we go to, well, anytime we bring a car over to the Lower Mainland, we go and get Krispy Kreme donuts. The only one for quite a while. You made it to alive, Melissa. Oat nog in coffee. Simone, who is usually in Montreal, is in Toronto. Michelle, hello from Prince George. Sheila, hello, Sheila. Royal One, my first live. Yay, welcome, Manitoba. Yum, donuts. Yeah. So I have got my delicious tea. Oh, it's so good. Now, I love tea, but due to many medical issues, I shouldn't have that much. So I limit myself to only 4 cups a day, and I start with 2 of them. Those donuts are so close. That is so cool. You're here for at least a few minutes, Diane. That is good. And Lynette, hello. Oh, milk oolong from Murchie's. Oh, I'm going to have to try that kind. I haven't had that kind. Well, Murchie's, that was actually Kelsey, who whenever we would do our live stream, often she would say, I'm having Murchie's tea. So she gets the credit. Okay, everybody. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you a couple of stories here. First of all, I obviously don't like clutter. However, there's going to be more clutter in my house, you guys. My son is buying a motorcycle to rebuild. God love him. He's so mechanically minded that I'm not going to say no, but I don't want to say yes. It's like this garage. I'm like, as long as there's a little corner that I can keep clean in the garage, I'm happy. But he's getting this motorcycle delivered so he can rebuild it today. Ugh. And I am not happy. Furthermore, so it's so funny. Every year at Christmas, I'm like, I can't wait for the recycling truck to come. Now, where I live, every time there's a statutory holiday, the day they pick up garbage, recycling, whatever, it bumps up a day. And they only pick up garbage every 2 weeks, and they only pick up recycling every 2 weeks. Well, usually it just lands, or quite often it lands that we have a whole weekend in there because there's 2 stat holidays in Canada. There's Christmas and Boxing Day are both stat holidays. And often we end up having it we have to wait a really long time to get our recycling picked up. And recycling is the one that is the most, crazy because there's boxes and all of these things. And this year, my son from university came home and said to my middle son, the one who's also getting this motorcycle, he said, if you want your new amp to work on your guitar, it's a whole thing. He's like, you should get a new computer. My one son, he works a lot. He's got a computer. Anyway, all of these boxes are coming in and I'm like, I'm so happy because recycling is coming on Thursday and yay, all of it's going to be gone. Well, do you know what happened? Recycling came really early on Thursday and we missed it. And all of the teenagers were sleeping. And I was just sitting here working away in my office and I look over and I'm like, there goes the truck. Oh, now we got to go to the landfill, but we're doing it today. I just don't like when it's stacked up forever. It's fine. It's fine. But it's, and actually the other thing is, so where I live on the side of a mountain, but I live on Vancouver Island, which is, yes, in Canada, but on Vancouver Island, we don't get a lot of snow. We get some snow, we just don't get a lot or very often. So when snow happens, it's like the world shuts down here. I grew up in the interior of BC where snow happened all the time and not much shut down. Well, here it totally shuts down. And so if there's even just a skiff of snow because I'm on the side of the mountain, they're like, "Oh, we can't pick up." So often you'll go like a month with this just recycling piling up. So I said to my husband, "We're doing it." No, I don't. Well, I mean, we probably could burn the recycling, but there's a lot of plastic mixed in. Like we just pour it all in. So it's fine. I mean, talk about a first world problem. I'm fortunate enough that I can just say to my husband and actually, my husband, he just popped home. He's working, and I said, throw that in the back of the car. We're taking it to the landfill. Same thing happens in North Carolina. Everything shuts down when you get snow, right? Isn't that funny? And the same in Texas, of course. Actually, I have an aunt who lives in Texas, and when there was that ice storm, it was crazy, right? And the thing is, so many times people will say, like, well, uh, we get a lot more snow than that. It's like, but if your infrastructure isn't capable of handling it, it's a big deal. Oh my gosh, no snow here. People are wearing shorts in Minnesota. Yeah, it is very, oh, cardboard. Yeah, it is very warm here too. It's El Nino, right? So we had La Nina, which means colder for like the past 4 years, but this year it's El Nino. It is very warm. I'm enjoying it. And actually, I'm going to tell you what I have done because quite often after Christmas, I often find this particular week really weird and really not fun between Christmas and New Year's. And I realized part of the reason why January seems like it takes so long is because it almost feels like January right after Christmas is done anyway. And for us, um what we did was we took down the decorations on Boxing Day. I just really, really, really like to just take it down right away. And what I did instead was I put little fairy lights up above the fireplace, and then above there's a right quite often, like I sit on the love seat while I'm recording videos, and there's a picture behind me. I put them up on that, and I put white lights along the banister going up. It is so cozy. It's so hygge, as Diana Denmark would say. It's just lovely. And that from now on, I was like, now it just makes me enjoy the winter more because winter here is going to last for January, February, and then there's early spring, which is usually just like kind of wet and cold. It's not a really big difference. So that's fun. And you know what? A lot of times people will put like maple syrup on their snow and they make it like ice cream or cream. Yes, the warmth has been fun. Yeah, it is. It's very interesting when the weather is like this because for us, we if there's not enough, well, I mean, like our well will be dry. Our well was dry last year. We had to get water delivered twice. Ugh. Yes, it is the sixth day of Christmas. No, I don't wait until Epiphany. I just can't do it. I just can't. I always say I'm going to. I'm going to leave my Christmas wreath up. That's about it. Um, and if you ever want to learn about the 12 days of Christmas, um, Lindsay Holiday, what's it called? Tea Time History or something with Lindsay Holiday. She has a great one about the 12 days of Christmas, and I really enjoyed it. And I always am like, I'm going to lean into the 12 days of Christmas. I just can't. I just can't. I just need to like move on. So, um, yeah. Let's see. I want to first I'm going to open up my questions here. And I'm also going to say I had in our I think it was in our private membership that they were saying, one of them was saying that she added, yes, because we had the Christmas workshop, and she said that she was adding to her list because I take, yeah, I put it away. I have a Christmas planner basically where I just write down everything, and I wrote down all of the food I like to make. I write down all of the people I'm buying gifts for, and every year I put a post-it next to them and I just write down what I'm getting them. I have, a calendar of dates where I like to get things done. Um and just like Christmas music, Christmas movies. And it was so helpful. I said, because my husband and I, we get kind of sad if we don't watch certain movies. So I got it out and he was looking at, he's like, yeah, we watched that one, that one, that one, that one. He's like, oh, we haven't watched this one. Let's watch this one. So we watched like The Ref or whatever. We always watch It's a Wonderful Life on Christmas Eve, and Die Hard. Although I think we're going to move Die Hard back to Christmas Eve. But so anyway, I added to my list this year, and actually I put it in my phone, and I use this really great app called Notion. And I use it for a lot of stuff, like in the business and the YouTube channel and everything. But I have like one like groceries, and then I have like Costco, and I actually organized Costco by sort of sections because we have a really small Costco here. It's really annoying, but it's fine. Like I have batteries, and then I just keep things crossed off if we don't need batteries. In fact, we do need batteries, so I'm going to uncheck that. And like certain meat and like bananas, peppers, cucumbers, all of these things. But what I did was I added, so I've got Christmas lists, and I clicked on that, and I put stockings for the kids. Now, in my family, we do stockings for adults also. We just always have, like for my grandma and everybody. And I put down stockings for the kids because I used to stress over it, and stockings used to drive me crazy because there was just so much clutter that would come from them. So what I do now is I get cereal. I get something called Those Pretzels, we were at this market in Vancouver, and they were selling these pretzels, and they're called Those Pretzels. Um, and hold on, I gotta do something here. Um, Lindors, Oreos, underwear or socks for the kids, deodorant, gum. They were like, "Are you trying to tell us something?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." Terry's chocolate orange, a chocolate Santa, a big candy cane, lip gloss, optional. Pringles, hot chocolate mix. Boom. So now all I need to do is just go to the superstore or wherever in mid-November, and boom, I have everything for the stockings done. Stockings for adults, chocolates, the same, the pretzels, the oranges, hand cream for me, gum, underwear, and jam. So that is what I do now. And so I just want to add that I am still adding to that list. And that is a great way to stay organized. And then you put in your calendar, when you want to get these things done. I know I just keep talking about this because I just love it so much. And I just added something to it. What is that? Christmas lights. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So let's talk enough about Christmas. Let's move on to the new year. Now, I love, love, love times of like promise and opportunity. And that's one of the greatest things about love that idea. That is one of the greatest things about January and September. I feel like January and September are just naturally times where it feels like there's some kind of a fresh start, whether it is, uh, kids going back to school, even if you don't have kids. Like when I was like in my early 20s and I didn't have kids and I was single, I still felt like, September was a fresh start, and it just feels good. And I feel like it almost is just because it's just you're on the precipice of some kind of big weather change or whatever. At least in September, it's like, okay, fall's coming in. So I love the idea of recognizing that, yes, like I'm not big on New Year's resolutions, but I love the idea of like a word. In the past, I have said, it was like a year of empowerment. I was teaching my kids, I said to my eldest, "You're learning how to do the litter box." And then I said, "Teach your brother," and then he can teach his brother. And I wanted them to learn that year a lot of independence. And other years, I have just sort of said, I'm going to have more social connections. I'm going to organize my house, and we'll get into that in a minute. Um, yes, of course. September was your new year. Yeah. And I always feel like September is a new year. It's even like when I got this beautiful new planner. I have used this planner forever, and I often would get it in September. It's got interchangeable covers, which is why it might look different. But I have this one now and I love it. I am so excited. 2024. Anyway, so this one, of course, starts in January, but I like the idea of just saying, like, this is a fresh start and I'm going to choose a word. Like this year, oh gosh, what was my word? I just thought about it. Oh, expansion. Because now I'm at a point in my life where my kids are growing up. My eldest is in university. There's so much time where I'm just like sitting in the living room by myself. Like, I'm like by myself. Like I used to like die first time like this. I'm just so excited. Um okay, the new planner is the Hemlock and Oak planner, and I will link it below. Um I love that your word is wellness. I really like the idea of just having a word. And a lot of times people will say um, that they want to get organized. And I used to do that all the time. I would say, I'm going to get organized. And what would happen is I would spend some time, usually decluttering a bunch of toys there. Um, if you want the planner, it is right here. I just put it down in the comments if you want the Hemlock and Oak. Um, but anyway, so I remember like I would be like, okay, I am going to clean up this kid's toy room. And I would just like, these poor kids. I had all of I mean, they weren't really using them. Um, and I just would find like a bunch of toys to get rid of, and I had them stacked up in the boxes outside waiting for somebody to come and take them. My mom was like, "Those poor kids, they're looking at their toys there." But I was like, "They don't want them. Like they weren't playing with them. They truly did not want them." But what I realized is like obviously you can't organize clutter. So, yes, I had decluttered, but I decluttered other people's things, which is kind of like a cardinal sin in my world because you don't declutter other people's things. If you're decluttering with kids, you work through it and go with them. But instead, what you do is you recognize, like, yes, like say your kitchen is really messy and you're like, I need to just organize. You can't organize clutter. You need to declutter first. So I suggest saying, this is what I'm going to do. I am now going to recognize that, yes, it's a new year and no, like maybe resolutions aren't your thing. They're not really my thing. But what is my thing is recognizing that this is a fresh start. I have that little bit of extra momentum going to get it done. So I'm going to do a little bit more, and I'm going to recognize this is it. This is when I'm going to make it happen. So what I suggest is if you're like, you know what, I'm tired of this house being messy, recognize that you just heard of a bunch of people, like without a doubt, of people in your own life or your own sort of like community or whatever who have passed away. And you're like, oh, that is so tragic. That is so sad. Or even family members who have celebrities, whatever. Like we're aware of people who have passed away. And we need to recognize that we only have one life. And one of the biggest things that is impacting your health is a cluttered environment, if you have one. And this is your opportunity to say, dang it, I am getting this done and I am not going to live with clutter anymore. And actually, now that I think about it, you can even sign up for our challenge that we're doing, which is I'm actually just looking for the link here. Um, it is a decluttering challenge. It's called the Inside Out Challenge, and we're going to do focus on um, what's going on inside every time we try to declutter. Because I used to be like, why is this not happening? And it's because I wasn't recognizing that every time I would try to declutter, certain things were holding me back, certain beliefs. Like in my family, we were always taught you keep things for good. Like you would never declutter. And my mom, who was, very poor as a kid, for the first part, well, you don't know that, but she was for the first part. Raised by people who grew up during the Depression, they would sh like, you would never declutter. Never, 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 never. Like, why would you declutter anything? And then so we're raised thinking like you just put stuff away, you put stuff away. And then all of a sudden, we're like, "Oh gosh, I just have so much stuff, and how do I deal with it?" And then you go and you try to declutter, and then you're like, well, but what if I need this? What if I need this? I'm saving this for this. I'm saving this for this. I have this. I have, I have all of these things. And I'm like, and I used to be the same. Like I used to be like, this feels really good to have all of this stuff. And I used to think like and my grandparents, they had a pretty big house and they had a lot of stuff, but they it was so like they were prepared if they needed to. And I loved how in my grandma's kitchen, she had so much options is what it felt like. Like if you needed a device, she had it. And I was like, that's going to be me. And that was me for a long time is I collected a lot of things. Now I am minimalist light as Elisa helped me name. And that means like I have hobbies. I'm not like the awesome minimalists on I love them. Ryan Nicodemus and Joshua Fields Milburn. They live in very minimal houses. My house is minimal in that the traditional sense is it's not crammed with things, but I have things like behind me. I have a calendar I'm waiting to put up. I was going to, and then my husband's like, it's bad luck. And I'm like, oh, all right. But anyway, I have things like I have a pasta roller. I have an ice cream maker. But I'll tell you what, if ever I go any stretch of time, like if I were to go more than 6 months without using my pasta roller, I would declutter that thing or, consistently. Or if I went a summer without making ice cream, I would declutter it. But at the same time, I also have like I'm a gardener, so I keep things for the garden. But I'm not going to keep things I don't use. So I think one of the better things that we can do is to recognize like maybe every time we try to declutter, we're being held back because we're thinking I learned that we keep these things. So that's why I was like, we need to do this inside out challenge. We're going to look at what's going on inside as we declutter an area on the outside. So you get to choose one area. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I suggest choosing one area. It's a 3-day challenge. It's January 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. I will be going live every day and I will coach you on decluttering, but also I will be guiding you through the mindset things that are coming up. So I would suggest choosing an area like a junk drawer or, you could choose your closet if you wanted. You could do your dresser, half your dresser, the hall closet, something, and work on that as we go through it. It's going to be so fun. I cannot wait. I'm just excited. And so that starts on the 2nd, which is coming up very fast. You signed up for the challenge. Yay! Oh, I think you already said that. For my grandma, tons and tons of fabric and sewing gear, yarn, and needles. Yeah. See, my husband, he said it's bad luck. I don't know. I think he just didn't feel like getting off the couch and helping me hang it. I was like, come and help me. I got it already. I love this calendar. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Let's see. What are people saying? It feels like your kitchen is full of coulds. Yeah. And sometimes people have loads of kitchen stuff that 80% shoulds. Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah, it's so true. And that's the thing is like so often it's like, am I that person? Like I painted this picture behind me mostly because I wanted a picture back there and I wanted it to have those colors. Like it's very plain. And I literally just went like, like with the brush, you know? Um, but I saved the painting supplies because I was like, that was very enjoyable. It only took half an hour, but I was like, maybe one day I'm gonna start painting. If I don't paint this year, those paints are gone because first of all, they're gonna dry up. And then maybe I will just start painting when I'm retired or the kids are grown up or something. Intentional, such a good word. Yes, you guys. Oh my goodness. Now that is a great thing to do, giving collector Barbies to others as gifts. I love that. And I think that in our culture, it seems like so often you need to buy something new or spend money to give a gift, which I think is really strange. I really, really like the idea of I just really like the idea of being so intentional with gifts. I love when, yay! I love when we in Little Women where they're like, "Here are some pencils. Here's, an orange." Like they're so excited about these things. And that's what it should be. It's like being like, "I know you and you like this sort of thing, so I'm going to give it to you," instead of like this obligation, which is why I end up giving people like cookies because and actually I was going to do like a wreath, but I didn't end up getting around to it. But I just was like, I'm tired of like feeling and then people like they're like, "Oh, I don't really want this." So I'm just like my husband, he got a bunch of sausages and cheese given to him by my mom. Such a great gift. He loved it. I was like, "Yeah, I love this gift. I'm so excited." Your last word is clarity. Ah, simple abundance. I love that. Ah, Meg. Meg's here. Yeah, I actually changed the time because I was like, well, my kids are sleeping in and I'm sleeping in too. I don't like an hour. I want to drive my kid to work early tomorrow. I'm like, come on, it's the weekend. I like the idea of doing the digital. Amelie's doing digital, and Valerie says, I did that years ago, but it needs to be done again. Yes. Digital declutter series. Yes. We're going to do like a 30-day declutter challenge in our Untangled group, and the doors will open for that soon. So I totally suggest looking at that when it comes out. Meg was running. Love it. Ah, gosh, it's sunny there. That's the nice thing about the prairies is it'll be sunny in the winter, and it is not very sunny here. I would turn my camera around, but my husband's out there. But yeah, I love when I visit. And actually, I'm going to go to Calgary in a month, just literally to get the sun, even though it's going to be so cold. Okay, so I'm going to get to a couple of questions on the YouTube. Where did I put you guys? Okay. So I said, question, live stream tomorrow. I'm trying to be realistic with my decluttering decisions. I'm removed so many unnecessary, no longer needed items from my home. Through this process, learning more about myself. Thank you for being a shining light of encouragement. Thank you. That is not a question, but it's very lovely to read. Okay. Any tips for the postpartum period, especially with multiple children? I had a cesarean, but I'm finding it hard to rest and accept help in this time, even though I know it's what will help me recover sooner. Just hard to switch off the desire to declutter and reorganize everything. And that's from Emily. Emily, I 100% understand. I had 2 C-sections and it is hard. It's hard to sit all the time too. Um, but honestly, my best advice to you is just to say like your clutter isn't going anywhere. I 100% get the desire to want to tackle it and to get it gone, but take care of yourself. Rest. a lot of the time we think, oh, on the outside, I'm looking healed, but on the inside, there's so many things, so many structures, so many important things that have been stitched together. And yes, they're like kind of tough, but at the same time, you need to be careful. Like you don't want any muscles healing incorrectly. So just push through. I think one of the best things you could do, though, if you wanted to, would be to do some digital decluttering. And digital stuff is such a pain. One of the things I absolutely love and I use is Superhuman, which is to keep your email organized. And I love it. It makes it super duper easy to delete things, but also to save things because all you do is you hit, I believe it's E on your keyboard. You do everything just with your keyboard, and E puts things in done, which means it's kind of out of the inbox, but then you can find it. You can go back later and find it. And it's just wonderful. And if you get to inbox 0, you get this beautiful picture. It's so great. So I really like it. It's called Superhuman. Um, I should reach out to them and see if I can get a link, but it's great. So that's one thing you could do is tackle your inbox. Also, pictures. It's so funny. I remember when I first got my iPhone and I was in nursing school. So it was like 2010, and I would just take pictures of things, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, that's such a good idea!" And I'm like, "Yeah, well now we all take pictures of everything, just notes galore." And even if I look in, I have got like I took one of my kids ordered the computer, like I told you, and he owes me like $1,000 because he ordered it through my Amazon account, and so I was taking a picture because I'm like, "You gotta pay me back." Which he just did while we're chatting, and I have pictures of that. Like, I don't need to keep that anymore because he's paid me, and, um, actually, I don't know why I took a picture of my Christmas movies, but I can delete that because it's in my book. Like, and so you can sit there and delete digital stuff. And what's great is even though it's digital and it's not like around us, making us feel like, oh, there's clutter everywhere, it still is a burden. It still bogs you down when you are trying to do whatever. Like how many times well, I don't know about you, but like for me on my desktop of my computer, because like I'm creating digital things and whatever, and I'll be like, oh, like why do I have pictures of this? Or why do I have all these old gifts or whatever? So deleting that stuff can feel so good. So yes, it is hard to sit around. The other thing is accept help if at all possible, especially with meals. When I had my third kid, I was a little bummed because I was like, wouldn't it be nice if people brought me meals? So that's one of the things I would love is to be able to bring more meals to people when they are healing. So that is that. Let me see here. Hello, Donine. And Amelie, you could do that during the challenge, of course, because you're going to do that. You are so fun to watch and learn from. Oh, thank you. How do you wind down after work? I'm trying to declutter so I can relax in my space. One of the things I do is I exercise. I don't want to. Like, I want to be clear. I don't want to. Like, I want to sit down, but I know that I'm going to feel much better about myself if I exercise. I also do like to do a quick tidy up. So if I get home from a nursing shift and I go down in the basement and I'm like, I don't want to do this, but I go and I work out and then I walk around and do a quick tidy up, it just feels so good. I honestly suggest that what you do is set your timer. I love, love, love this timer. This is the time timer. I will link it below. I gotta make notes. I keep saying I'm gonna link stuff below, and I think I keep not linking stuff below. And I will just set it for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, and work on it. You will get so far. In our Untangled group, I think it was Meg, who is right here. She started Team 15. And actually, I think it was CJ who called it Team 15, but they declutter for about 15 minutes a day. They come in the group and they post what they did. It's so good. You can't, and the thing is, anyway, Be consistent, 15 minutes a day. I was just gonna reply to this. I can't remember the last time I got to inbox 0. Yes, you can do it. It's amazing. You can go through hundreds and hundreds of emails very quickly. Yeah, exactly. So sit down and just declutter your phone. 15 minutes for the win. Yay, team 15. Okay, I have another question. Okay. Vanessa asked what to plan for indoor activities and avoid January boring life. Basically, fun indoor activities, clutter free, she said. Okay, I mentioned before that we put up the cute little fairy lights. That has made such a difference for enjoying being inside right now and liking the winter, because the winter is just it can be a challenge, but if you can find a way to make it feel good, that's great. And Diane, when I chatted with her, she said, "How can you find something to look forward to when you're doing hygge?" I try to say it the way she said, and I laugh every time I say it. So for us, what we do usually starting on Christmas Day is we start watching Star Wars. And we have decided to skip episodes 1 to 3 because I think they're boring and my husband doesn't like the new ones. So we're watching all the old ones and like Rogue One anyway. It's a whole thing. So for us, what we like to do is kind of make it a very themed month. In fact, January, February, I feel like February is almost the worst. But we make it a very themed time and movie themed. So when my husband is off, we will watch the Star Wars movies. So we watched one and now he's working. And then when he's off on his days off again, starting on Tuesday, we'll start watching them again. Then we go, and what we'll do every week, we're going to have some kind of a special meal that's like something international. So we're going to do deep dish pizza. Now, you might say that's not international because it's from Chicago. Well, I'm Canadian, so the US is international. It's also kind of Italian, but whatever. We're going to do that. I recommend Sally's Baking Addiction. Her recipe is so good. Then, like the next week, I was going to say we're going to do Hawaiian pork, which is again US, so international. But, every week we're going to do something. I haven't planned all of the meals, but it's something just to make it special, something to look forward to, because summer takes care of itself, spring takes care of itself, even like fall. I just feel like winter is that time where you need to really just do a lot more work just to get things done. And Meg says, get outside. Absolutely. It's so important to get outside. And yes, it is about dressing right. It was funny actually because we had a friend who was from Calgary who moved here. Now, Calgary, if you're in the US, is in Alberta, and it's much, 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 much colder than where I live. And we would be like, "Oh, it's cold," and she'd be like, "You guys don't dress right." She's like, "Dress for the cold weather." Although it is a damp cold, I will let you know. No matter what you wear, it's going to get to your bones. But regardless, yes, go outside, go for a walk. And my husband, he has been going for walks at night with his headlamp going up the mountain, and he's loving it. It's making him so happy. Although it is good to get the daylight. It really is so good to get the daylight. So one of the things you can do, some kind of entertainment, something to make it fun and special. So for us, we're doing international meals. And yes, I love the idea of doing something outside. And of course, making um making your home cozy. So leaning into the hygge, getting special light, not getting. I had all of these fairy lights kicking around in my office. I was going to show you, but it's attached. It just makes a huge difference. Just anything, because I always noticed I love putting the Christmas stuff away. It just feels like so good. Like every time I walk in, I'm like, yes, it feels so good. But and I'm like, and with that much vigor, I say it. But I also am just like, I need something to make it feel cozy because it gets dark here. It's dark here at like 4:30. It's already starting to stay out light out longer, which is lovely, but it still is dark early. And I'm exercising once it's dark in the basement, and I don't love it, but I am like putting on music I like. I'm not nothing depressing, nothing depressing. Okay. Um, thank you. Inbox zero at work. Woo! Setting up your 2024 folders. Tell me what folders you use. Now I know it might be specific, but try to like generalize. Put it in the comments. I'm really curious. Maybe you can share a couple of Canadian favorite recipes so we can include them in our international night. Okay. Help me out here, Canadians. The only thing I can think of is like, I mean, there's poutine. They're all unhealthy. I love poutine though. It's so good. Um, which is fries, cheese curds, or just shredded cheese, and then gravy. I think it's supposed to be a turkey gravy. It's really good. It's very unhealthy. If you want to make it a bit more healthy, I made it once with cauliflower. It was really good instead of fries. Nanaimo bars. I live in a city called Nanaimo, and the Nanaimo bars are really, really good. And let me see. I'm going to look up Nanaimo bar. Let's see if I can find a Canadian recipe. It's so funny. Okay, I'll put Canadian Living. That's the one of the magazines here. Nanaimo bars. Butter tarts. They're all so sweet, but I definitely love poutine. If you want to go, you could be like, we're having an international Canadian dinner. Poutine and Nanaimo bars. Sounds silly, but to get my email to zero, I make an appointment on my calendar once a week, usually Friday, and just do it. I love that. And actually, on Fridays, which is today, is the day where I organize my desk. I work on my emails and on my finances. And I use the awesome, awesome app that actually a client that I was coaching had recommended. And it's called You Need a Budget, YNAB. Oh, I just love it. And somebody commented, I can't remember if it was in our Untangled membership that they, and I, this is not, none of this is sponsored. One of, if I share this, this is going to take up, yeah. You need a budget. Anyway, what am I saying? Anyway, so this You Need a Budget is so great for budgeting. It took me like 6 months to really like take the time to get it organized. It does take a bit of time, but oh my gosh, I love it. So I work on that on Fridays usually as well. YNAB for the win. YNAB is amaze balls. It really is. It really is. Poutine is good, but the word sounds like something that, well, actually, the Quebecers would say like poutine, which I guess doesn't sound that much better. Oh, yes. I'm in Saskatchewan. We used to joke that our provincial dish was the Ukrainian plate. Yeah. There's a lot of Ukrainians in Alberta too, and here. Say you eat moose or something, see who falls for it. Yeah. I don't like moose. I tried it years ago. And I don't like venison. It's just too gamey. I want to like it. I really want to like it. How can I find a word to guide how can I find a word to guide me in 2024? I want to cook more. You know what? I got sponsored. I reached out to this company and I said, "Do you want to sponsor me?" Because of all the YouTube troubles, you guys know. Called Plan to Eat, and they sponsored me. It is amazing. I love this app, and I'm going to have a video out on it in the third Monday in January. That's one great way. It makes it so easy. Oh my gosh, I just love it. Like I just was like they gifted it to me and I was like I will pay for this. Definitely pay for this next year. I love it. What word I would use would be like plan. Because the thing about food, if you don't plan, it doesn't happen yet. So for me, usually I eat a salad every day for lunch. Well, yesterday I went into my fridge and I was like, I don't have any salads ready. I don't have any salad dressing. What I do usually is I wash my lettuce. I don't freeze dry it. What is the word? I take the air out of it. Why am I not thinking of the word? Food saver. I use the food saver. Help me out here, people, to suck the air out of the jar. And it keeps the lettuce good for like 3 weeks. It's so, so good. Anyway, so I didn't have any salad ready. That's basically the long and the short of it. And instead, I did eat like something healthy, but the point is if you're not prepared, if you haven't planned, it's really hard to cook more. It's really hard to eat healthy. So a little bit of planning will get you so far. And that's why I like that. But I always did planning the old-fashioned way, just with like looking through my cookbooks or my whatever, and or like on websites, and then just writing them in my planner. Why not as a maze boss, corporate communications leadership with so these are the folders that Kathy uses to organize her emails. I love that. And now in my own personal emails to organize, I have created some. So I have a cat charity that I volunteer for. So I just made a folder for that because they'll send something and say, this is the new vaccination, blah, blah, blah for the cats. Um, Stuff for family, kids stuff, receipts, right? Like how many times do you buy something online and you're like, oh, I need to save this. And like you need to save the receipt, just drag it in there. Hello from West Tennessee, Boots and Bounty. Oh my gosh, poutine. Yeah, okay, salmon. No, it's not poutine. Oh my goodness, that's no poutine. But they say poutine. I don't know. The Quebecers are probably so mad at me. Salmon is good. It's not really exclusively Canadian, but deer jerky. Actually, deer pepperoni, deer jerky, yeah. Vacuum seal. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I wash the lettuce, I spin it dry, and then I pack it into quart jars, and then I have like this topper that goes on, and I use my vacuum sealer. Stays fresh for so long. Paprika is free. Oh, yes. I have heard of paprika. Yeah, I have heard of that. I have a video on wrapping leaves in moist paper towel. Yes, my friend, she does that too. I like to eat eggs when I haven't really planned dinner. Yeah, is good too. Actually, I was watching Simple Living Alaska and they pickled eggs. I wouldn't store them the way they did just because I did look up that there's no like safe way to do it. And I try to be like good about stuff like that. But I was like, yes, I will be pickling some eggs and throwing them in the fridge. Apparently, they can last in the fridge for quite a while. So I thought, okay, that's perfect for lunches where I'm like, eh. And the other thing I did was I pressure canned a bunch of salmon. So I have the protein ready to go. And then I just throw it on top of the leaves, which I always, except for right now, but that's because of Christmas, I always have washed and ready to go. In fact, after this call, I'm probably going to do that. Yes, I've heard of people doing that. Oh my gosh, Emily, you did. That is so good. I should see if I can find that just for anybody who didn't buy oh my gosh, what is it called? I just updated my website. And it's been a to-do. Holidays. Nope. And if you found like it, or if you like to be kind of more organized when it comes to Christmas and stuff, just download that and it will just make it so much easier. Oh man. It's really weird when you update your website and you can't find anything. Holy moly. I don't know. It's fine. I'll put it up next year. But yeah, it really makes a big difference. Best salmon I ever ate was on vacation in Niagara Falls. That's good. I wonder where it was from. No pickled eggs for me. I mean, I eat breakfast for dinner. Yeah, I also do. Quite often when my husband's working a night shift, I will make eggs and bacon or eggs and sausage or waffles. Usually the kids are like, waffles, I want waffles. Okay. Well, everybody. So, what plans do you have for the next year? Goodbye, Karen. And any questions before we go? You can just pop your goals in, join the challenge. It's going to be super fun. I also have another podcast coming out next week. I think you'll find very helpful about keeping with your goals for the new year. Because the thing is, like, the reason why we come up with these like resolutions or things we want to do is because we want to make life better. So it's just like, how do you keep it going? How do you stay consistent? So I have that in there. Of course, I'll mention that in the challenge too. Travel more in 24. Oh, yes, I love that. Go back to yoga classes. Yes. Can you go to one today? Why delay? Why delay? Actually, I'm signing up. There's this great YouTuber. Her channel is Live in Leggings. And I really like her. And I might sign up for her. Um, she's got a workout program that I think looks really good that I want to try. I think it's going to be really good. Let's see. Go back to you. Okay. Nobody else to say anything. That's okay. She's amazing. Ooh, okay. Well, let me just share it then. Leggings. I just want to share her channel. Oh, I must have just looked. There she is. She's British. She's adorable. Take better control of your finances. Yes. And the thing about Live in Leggings that she's really good at is she will help you with like your mobility and flexibility, which is super duper helpful. All right. Is your oldest back for the holidays? Yes, he is. He's the messy one. I love him. He actually went to stay at a friend's last night. I was like, oh, darn it. Oh my gosh. Yes, you will kick leukemia's butt. Yes, you will. Stronger in 2024. Yes, it will. You should look at Live in Leggings. That's what hers is like strength and yoga. That's what I'm signing up for it. What is the best way to organize sentimental clutter? Kids' artwork, drawings, paperwork from past events. Okay, so you're looking at paperwork sentimental. What I suggest doing for kids is, first of all, you can't keep all of it. So take pictures of a lot of it and declutter some of it. Some of it you can keep, I think. I actually have a bin where I have some of their artwork, not a lot, but taking pictures is great and you can organize it in an album on your phone. Like you can put like kids' artwork or whatever. And what I love though is keeping a couple of things because their little hands touched that, like that's really cool. Paperwork from past events. I have a binder where I keep all of our important paperwork. Like almost all of it fits in a binder. Marriage certificate, insurance stuff, any of that. I'm going to try to do a no spend January. I might be setting myself up for disappointment. No, you're not. And with that kind of attitude, you might be. So don't be like that. No, you can do it. In fact, if you follow Three Rivers, I'm like talking about all these other channels. If you follow Three Rivers Homestead, she does a pantry challenge in January where she really just cooks from her pantry. She only goes to the store once or twice because she does it in January and February, and she only goes because it's like two kids' birthdays. She's got 8 kids. She goes for 2 kids' birthdays, and she will well, she wants to like get stuff because like they can choose for that, but she buys all of that stuff. Or she doesn't buy anything, I should say. She also says, like, don't do like a huge shop ahead of time. So I like that idea for no spend January, like big time. In fact, I do plan on doing a lot more eating from our pantry and our freezer. Yeah, I love that. Yes, intentions. Exactly. Meal plan. Do it. Do it. I love it. And I have Amanda, that's the other thing is there's a bunch of videos on my channel about sentimental things. In fact, there's one I think it was in October, holding a wedding dress. Check that one out. Pull stuff for income tax return and shred it, shred it, shred it. Yeah, I have my shredder back there. And I will often just say to one of my kids, shred this. It's so good. Okay, everybody, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much. This was so fun, and I hope you have an amazing new year. Join the challenge. It's gonna be fun. It's free. The Inside Out Challenge. I'm giving it to you for free, and we are gonna get so much declutter from your mind. You're gonna love it. Happy New Year. Thank you. Thank you. We'll do a live in the new year too. Bye, everybody.